I don't know what this is worth, but this took me a long time to gain the guts to do this. And I want to say a special thanks to my really good friend. He pushed me in the right direction to finally say it, and he's been there for me and reached into the good side of me, and he even finally got me out. He finally got me out of my mother's home, and now here I am, explaining everything. I understand that you guys see me as a terrible person. So do I. And no, I don't see myself as fat, ugly, as a bad thing. I mean, I am literally messed up. I am a terrible person, and I know that. It's the reason why I'm trying to fix myself. But for a long time, I didn't want to fix myself. And if you want to understand, I'm going to have to shed a little backstory onto you. I will have to exclude a lot of details, so if you want to know more, please do not ask. I'm not going to answer. It took me 8 years to get out of her home. My mother was like me. She was sweet, kind, and seemed very loving, but those were only the things on the outside. On the inside, she was condescending, emotionally manipulative, and she felt empty. She didn't accomplish her dreams of becoming a lawyer. So, when she found out that I liked art, she would love to put me down and say nasty things about me, and would even shame me of my own sexuality. If you don't know, yes, I am lesbian. I am sexually and romantically attracted to females and females only. And she did not like that. The reason why she did not like that was because she has never known a lawyer who was a lesbian. And yes, according to the judge from the court, that was her reason. That is what she stated in court. Anyways, after moving out, I was very much broken. I would always have emotional outbursts at school, and I would cry, I would lie, and I didn't know why. I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why I was acting like her. So I set up a live stream on my YouTube channel with a good friend of mine, and it was going to be my last live stream. My YouTube channel was small. It had roughly 50 subscribers, and I was a very small artist. That was when I met my first friend online. My first good friend online. I met her in real life as well. She was probably one of my bestest friends ever. Sadly, I'm not allowed to talk to her anymore. And sadly, she didn't like her. Now, I didn't live with her at the time, so I'm going to call this girl Lucy. Lucy and I were really close. She introduced me to some of her other friends. One of these friends included my first ever boyfriend and Mashimus. Now, how I started dating my first ever boyfriend, it felt weird. I didn't love him. I didn't like guys. I didn't love guys at all. I was still broken. So when he asked me out, I said yes, but not because I loved him. For some reason, I probably still felt empty, and I wanted to feed that emptiness with something, anything that would make me forget. And so that started. And I pretended the relationship was happy, but I didn't feel happy. I saw him as a good friend. I didn't see him as a boyfriend. Now, when it was this time, I identified as bisexual for a very good reason. I didn't want to admit I was lesbian because my mother taught me that being lesbian was a bad thing. That I shouldn't be lesbian. That I should be at least somewhat straight. Have somewhat of an attraction to a guy because I'm female. So I tried. Now, we broke up because I had a mental breakdown, and we went off there. And it was like that for a while, but I started to feel lonely again. I felt empty. And this was the time where my YouTube channel started to kick off. It started to, well, gain views and subscribers, and I was happy, but I felt terrible getting these subscribers. I didn't put effort in these videos. They didn't look good. This is just something I copied off of another YouTuber. And even some other popular YouTubers commented on them. I didn't deserve that. And I even got a girlfriend out of it. I didn't love her either. I saw her as a stranger. We knew each other for a day, and we dated anyways. And I felt like she wasn't enough. I still felt empty. That's when Mashimus came in and confessed his feelings. I didn't like him that way. I turned him down at first, but when I came to realize that she wasn't enough, I broke up. She broke up with me, and I immediately went out with him. I didn't feel sad when she broke up with me. I didn't feel anything. And we dated for 8 months. I thought I was happy, but I wasn't. Every time I talked to him, I don't know why, but I always told myself I didn't deserve it. And I didn't deserve talking to someone as nice as him. He deserves someone better, someone who actually loves him. I didn't love him in that way. I loved him as a friend. He was my friend. That's when he broke up with me. And the reason why I cried wasn't because I lost a boyfriend. It was because I lost a friend. I lost someone who was my friend. Someone who stopped me from killing myself whenever those thoughts came. Whenever she would call me and tell me these things, telling me how terrible I was. And after that, I lost more friends. So I couldn't do it. On the day that I was moping around and thinking, what if I didn't exist? When I was thinking that, I get a phone call. It was from an unknown number. So I pick it up, and guess who it was on the other side? It was her. She wanted me back. I had nothing to lose. I didn't know what to do. I had nothing to lose. I lost all my friends. I thought to myself, she loves me. She's the only one who loves me now. She had a plan. Me and Mashmasla, we met in real life, and the closest thing we ever done was kiss and make out, all that stuff. But my mother wanted to get me back by posing my father as irresponsible. But little did she know was that she was throwing his life away too. She told me to tell the court that he raped me. He never did, though. And she wanted me to spread the lie on the internet. She watched my videos. She found my password. She knew. She was looking through my stuff now. And I did it. I told people the lie because I thought she changed. I don't know what made me think that she changed, but I did it. I could have said no. I could have stopped, but I was too much of an idiot, and I spread it around like wildfire. And I moved back with her. They saw my father as irresponsible, and they saw him as neglectful, and took me back to my mom. And she wasn't much better. I thought she changed. The first thing she did when she first saw me, she looked at me and went into her bedroom. She was very neglectful of me. Whenever I got sick because of my disease, she didn't care about my food needs. She would always get me fast food, but I would always tell her I didn't want that. I can't eat that. She would force me to eat it anyways. It scared me. I didn't want to eat it. I got sick. So much blood, and so much nausea, so much pain, but I still had to eat it. And the things she said to me, calling me faggot, fat ass, telling me that I'll never find a boyfriend, and being lesbian is just me being desperate. So I wanted to change that. I felt so empty. I didn't feel like anyone loved me. If my mother didn't love me, who loved me? So I dated another person. This was some random Joe. I didn't know who he was. I met him. I knew him for a week. His name was Mr. Riolu. I didn't know him. We dated for a little bit, but he wasn't the only one I dated. I dated so many other people that I don't remember their names. I did so many disgusting things because they wanted me to, and I wanted to feel loved. So I assumed if I do them, that I'll feel loved. And sometimes I wouldn't even start conversations off right off the bat with those disgusting things because I thought those guys would like me. I couldn't find a single girl. And one day, Valentine's Day came, I completely lost it. My friend, who I'll call Grace, came up to me. We were talking during an assembly, and I snapped. I don't remember, but I ran into the bathroom, and I did my usual thing whenever I had a breakdown. I had a razor in my bag, and I would just slit my wrist and slit my legs. I would go deep, but this time I thought something different. I started cutting on my wrist. I started cutting on the veins. I started cutting on my neck. Anywhere. But I didn't realize how much time passed. I couldn't hear people come in. They kicked down the door, and they saw me covered in blood. They saw me covered in scars and blood, with tears going down my face. Immediately, they took me to the mental hospital, and they locked me up. When I came back out, I got a bunch of messages, and I see a video released about me, released about my sluttiness, and released about my emotional manipulation. During that time, I felt so low. My mother was disappointed in me for being depressed. She got angry at me whenever I sobbed. She got mad at me. And the abuse only got worse when my stepdad came into play. I remember whenever I cried, he'd yell at me and hit me. And no, not like a hit, like a tap on the head or a tap on the shoulder. No, he'd use an item to physically knock me down. And when he did, I remember aching so much. I just couldn't do it. So I thought, if I wanted to feel less depressed, I should start over as a new person. I should start over as someone else. And that's where my other accounts came into play, such as Honeytree and Wolfpaw. Both. I got caught on both as being the same person. And when I did, my mother was not pleased because every time I did, I would get depressed. And when I got depressed, I would vent. I would have to tell my therapist, and she would have to tell the court. Luckily now, thanks to my friend, he got me out. I no longer live with her, but that doesn't mean that I am a good person. I hope I change, but I am still a terrible person. I am so sorry to everyone I've hurt. I didn't want to hurt anyone, but I did. And when I did, I would just run away. But he taught me a valuable lesson. He taught me to never run away from your problems. he always told me that I should face up to them.